reasons of national security.
Okay.
Because they knew that the Japanese were coming.
How far did they fear the Japanese might get?
To
Chicago, about half of the country. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going.
And the right and the responsibility of citizens.
What's that now?
The right and the responsibility of citizens.
Okay.
And then they later sued the U.S. No, they got
one at a time. Go ahead, Bojang.
They got appeasement, and the U.S. government paid each of them $20,000.
They got appeasement, -5.
No.
You guys haven't missed. Tell me more. We're up to the internment camps.
Well, Korematsu, they sent him to the internment camps, and he didn't think it was fair to be sent to the internment camps
because he had demonstrated.
Yeah, he wanted to be an American. He wanted to be.
He wanted to be an American.
He wasn't an
American. Okay, so tell me what happened at what's the story with these camps?
The camps, all the Japanese Americans were sent there to work.
You can carry whatever you can carry with your hand.
Okay, that's true. They had to leave everything virtually behind, and this is Matt's group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but for what they could carry. Tell me more. What ultimately happened from this case?
All right. So what ultimately happened was that Fred brought up the case. He made the case. He made the lawsuit against the U.S.
Right.
Right. And because he tried to enlist, and because they wouldn't let him, they said, usually the best thing you could do for this country was to go to that internment facility. However,
how did they phrase it?
No, that's not. But it was good for the Japanese Americans as well, because it was protecting
I said that he had civil rights, but he also had a civil responsibility.
Okay, as a citizen, and you said this, but there were other things going on over there. You said rights and responsibilities. And what was his responsibility?
To go stay in the internment.
Okay, the rights and responsibilities is what the court held. They said in this, you have rights as an American citizen, but responsibilities. And your responsibilities in this instance, what would have been a responsibility for a woman?
To leave her home and work in a factory.
Work in the factories. What would have been the responsibility of the average American male?
To fight in the war.
And what is his responsibility as a Japanese American?
To
go to the internment camps. Yeah. Anything else you can tell me about this case?
This was the second worst Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, it is generally regarded as the second worst Supreme Court decision in history after
Dred Scott.
Dred Scott. Tell me more.
Who wants to talk about Dred Scott?
No, I don't want to talk about Dred Scott. Anything else you can tell me about Korematsu? 5, 4.
After they decided this, some years later, that's when they paid the Japanese Americans reparations.
They paid them appeasement?
They paid reparations.
Reparations. They paid reparations. And about how much did they get?
$20,000.
Which one is it for?
20.
Yeah, it's about 20 grand. They got about $20,000 out of this. And an apology. Anything else? 3, 2.
It happened in 1944. I don't think anyone mentioned that.
What happened in 1944?
The
The case happened in 44. And what was the difference between 1942 and 1944?
1942, there might have been a chance where we would have lost the war. 1944, we were definitely
sure.
You could probably make the argument that he should have let out because it was not a national security concern in 44, but they stuck with the original decision. Go ahead, click on it again. That was 5 points. Click on it again. It should turn black this time.
It did.
And then run the house. Okay, it's black. Pick me another category. You gave me the last correct answer. Gotta go.
Let's say Chapter 7 for 2 points.
Chapter 7 for 2. List all you can. Your group's got it. First hand we see next gets it second. Give me a category. Go ahead. Click it.
Oh, just list all you can.
Click it.
What?
Fractions.
Okay, fractions are the different parties?
Fractions.
Fractions or
The examples of fractions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dina, go ahead. What are the fractions?
Fractions, I think you just said were the parties in
4, 3,
wait,
2.
Legislative, judicial.
-2.
No!
Josh's group, you want in on fractions?
Fractions are the parties called
Don't worry.
Fractions are what the parties are called in Britain. -2. Fractions, I'll give you a hint. First hand I see. California fractions. Go ahead.
Okay, in California, they thought that maybe to get the youth more involved, they let the youth vote. And they let kids from 14 to 15 have a quarter of a vote.
14 and 15, they would have a quarter of a vote. 1, 2.
And kids 16 to 17 would have half a vote.
16 to 17 would have a half, and anybody that was 18 and over would have?
One vote.
1 vote. 1, 2. It was designed, as you said, to get the kids involved. Is it legal to do this?
No, because
Why?
they said it's it violates.
It's discrimination.
Discrimination. It's a denial of equal protection. Pick me a category. Go.
Chapter 7 for 3 points.
Chapter 7 for 3. Tell the story of, click it, Barbara Harris. First hand we see. It's yours and you've got it next. Who's Barbara Harris?
Barbara Harris was the woman who had her van in, I believe, North Carolina.
Which one is it?
North Carolina.
Okay, North Carolina. Yeah, you better get that right. 1, 2. Tell me more.
She drove around her van,
3.
giving people, she would give women who were addicted to drugs $200 if they could either be sterilized or prove that they were on long-term birth control.
Okay, she would offer $200 to women who either would demonstrate that they were sterilized or that they were on long-term birth control. This was Barbara Harris. Yeah. Tell me more. What's the controversy? Or why was she doing this? Why was she doing this?
She wanted to do it because she didn't want more crack babies. She wanted to protect the unborn children. And she didn't think it was good for babies to be born addicted to crack.
Okay, so she's basically saying if we sterilize the mothers, then we don't get crack babies, which is good for the crack babies and good for the drug-addicted mothers.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3. Anything else?
Yes. We also talked about how it might have been considered racist because she was targeting primarily black women.
Was she targeting them?
She was going to their neighborhoods. Those are the neighborhoods she was going to. Neighborhoods.
Is there a better way you can say that it might be racist for? Anybody in the group? 3.
Largest percentage of
the clients.
The largest percentage demographic was.
The largest percentage of the clients, and it was larger than their percentage in the population as a whole. Anything else?
30%.
Yeah, 30%. 4, 3.
There's a billboard.
Oh yeah.
Put a billboard.
Okay.
She had the billboards out and was advertising it.
Anything else? 4.
And on the side of her van, she had like the 2 eyes of the baby.
And it said. 3.
These are her father's eyes.
And she has her father's eyes and her mother's.
She has her father's eyes and her mother's addiction. Okay, anything else? 3, 2.
She's married to a black person and she adopts.
That's a really good point. How can you say that a white woman's racist if she's married to a black man and she's cared for 4 black crack addicted babies? Seems like that's a little bit of a fishy argument. Anything else? 2, 1.
Other people would pay for it. The money wasn't coming out of her pocket to fund this.
Yeah, she was actually getting funds from private groups. Anything else? 2, 1.
She's getting them from conservative groups.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else? 2, 1. Go group.
If she wasn't privately owned, and if she wasn't privately, getting her money from fundraising, then the government would have.
It would have been controversial for the U.S. government to do it itself, and it would have raised hell.
Yeah.
And on average, each of the women that she did this service for had at least around 5 pregnancies.
Yes.
And often 3 of the children they wouldn't know about, and 2 would either be in foster.
They didn't know about 3 of the kids?
Well, no, 3 of the kids they wouldn't know where they were.
Okay, yeah, so they knew they had them. Okay, I got you. All right, here's the thing on this. Absolutely, if this was the U.S. government or a state government doing this, this would not have passed muster. But she was a private citizen, or in the context of the chapter, a peer. So it was okay because it was private money and not government funded. Anything else? 3, 2, 1. Anything, group?
She married a black man and she adopted 3 crack.
Has that been said? Yeah. -3.
Negative.
Okay, you gave me the last correct answer. Pick me a category.
Culture for 4.
Culture for 4. Okay, we got a Pictionary here. Who's drawing?
You guys, whoever's
That's
good
not
at
fair,
drawing,
we can't
I'm
see.
really good.
Who's drawing? Which one was this?
Also now.
Chapter.
What's her first or any of us?
You can't just get up there and hold it. You say you're going to draw.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, you
Which one
can't
was
just climb
chapter
over
7?
tables and strip.
Huh? That never happened.
Oh.
All right, Leslie, this is what I need you to draw.
Okay.
We got a Picasso.
Oh, cool.
Got it. 1 minute starting on the 7.
Anyone guess?
Your group's got it first.
Wait, their group does.
Yeah, their group's got it first.
Oblongs.